It is unfortunate for them, but
it's like I tried to bring you.
Yeah. It is, but it is what it is at that point. You know what I mean? Like you have to like allow that to happen because they'll come around. So we'll do some of the other stuff that I told you about. We'll do it after, because I've enjoyed our warm-up conversation here. How's the coffee?
I haven't even tried it yet.
You haven't tried it? Okay, you gotta try it.
I already know it's gonna be so fire. All right, here we go.
Yes. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah. Welcome to More Coffee, Please. My name is Austin. I'll be the host. And today we have Wyterria here with us, and she's going to tell you a little bit about her and her experience and what she's doing, what she's trying to do, what she's trying to accomplish, and all the good things. So stay tuned as we have this conversation and really try to dig deep into some things so you can see what it looks like, again, as creatives and entrepreneurs come together, as founders come together. What does it look like? What do those conversations look like? Especially starting at the ground level and building up. It's a beautiful experience. So let's get to it. All right, so Wyterria, if you want, so tell me a little bit about yourself first, and then we'll kind of dive deep into some very specific pockets that I might be curious about.
All right, so about me, I'm currently on a path of entrepreneurship. But I guess when I say like newly onto that path, that's not necessarily true. I started my LLC like in 2019.
Okay.
So pre-COVID. And then what that initially looked like was us opening up a restaurant. And then from there, we ended up opening up a venue.
Okay.
So the venue's been open for just a few months now.
Okay.
The build out took maybe about a year or so just to kind of customize it and make it into a space that was intentional, exactly what we were looking for. And I just enjoying the ride.
The restaurant, is that what you have now, or was that the first iteration of what you have now?
Yes, so the restaurant was the first.
Okay.
Yep, the restaurant's the first. And with the restaurant, it's just a small restaurant located inside Northside Marketplace.
Okay, so it's still there?
It's still there, yep.
Okay,
Yep,
okay.
Yep, so that's still a thing. And those two things, they complement each other very well, because with the restaurant, we do a lot of catering. And so with the venue, people need things catered. So they just complement each other.
Yeah, what's it called?
The Plannerz Place Eatery.
The Plannerz. I think I've seen that. Being that I just moved back to Ohio, I have to like really get out to some of these spaces. I've been traveling a lot, but I realized even just over the past couple of weeks how many hidden gems are in Akron. And it's overwhelming almost, because it's a lot. Like I was telling you about my friend that I met yesterday. He works at a place called Killer Videos. You ever been to Killer Videos?
No, I never even heard of it.
It's a retro movie store.
Okay.
Like Blockbusters or whatever. But you go in there and they have the full setup. It's very vintage like. But I say that to say I would have never found out about that unless he told me. You know. So what you got going on in terms of your restaurant at the Northside Market? That has to be my next stop. I have to come out there.
You would absolutely love the Northside Marketplace. Right now we're in a transitioning period with like ownership.
Okay.
But beyond that, the space is beautiful. It's for creators, it's for entrepreneurs, it's for small businesses.
Okay.
So essentially the Northside Marketplace, that houses like over 100 small businesses.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
So it's pretty big.
But I know that sounds like massive, but it could be like a little corner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, in the front of the marketplace, there's actually like a flower shop. There's 2 restaurants. There's a full bar. There's like a dessert shop. And then in like the back of the marketplace, there's a tattoo shop.
Okay,
it's pretty awesome.
This is interesting.
Yeah, and so then in the back there'll be like just little areas that are sectioned off where you can have anything. Like if you had cookies or whatever, you can have a little section where you sell your cookies. A section where you sell clothing. So there's clothing brands in there. Have you heard of 7th Floor?
7? Yes, I have actually. Yes.
Yeah. So he's housed inside of the Northside Marketplace. So it's definitely an Akron gym for sure, and it's just downtown Akron.
All right.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Have you from Akron? So I know you know of Luigi's.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cat a corner to Luigi's. So just right in that area.
Where?
So you know where the hotel is at? The
Yes.
Courtyard Marriott? Literally the building next door.
Oh, okay.
That's the Northside Marketplace.
I had no idea.
Yeah, so it's like a multi use space where there's housing, there's another restaurant that's attached to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely a hidden gem.
Interesting.
And it's interesting because when my mom, she found the place, I was still living back in Maryland, and she was describing it to me because it's essentially kind of like a food hall.
Yeah.
But it's not massive. It's like I said, there's only 2 restaurants and like a drink shop and a dessert shop. But in Maryland, that concept is pretty common. So she was describing it to me. I'm like, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about, and I think that could be a great spot for us. And it has been, because people do like just kind of stumble upon it. With the hotel being next door to it, we get a lot of travelers, a lot of people from, different parts of the world that are just stopping by.
Yeah.
And it's nice. It's just a great space to support entrepreneurs and small businesses.
So does your mother run that pretty much full time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I told you I'm trying to get my little brother, I'm training him up right now, but the idea of doing it with your family, first and foremost, I would say, I think we were taught the opposite growing up. You know what I mean? Kind of like, don't go on a business with your family, or don't lend your friends money and all that kind of stuff. And as I got older, I started seeing how that was so untrue. So I have 3 younger brothers, and they all are extremely intelligent young men and really creative and crafty and things like that. But as I started building my companies, I realized that I was really building it for, not just them. So I'm building it actually for 6 people. It's my 3 brothers and my 3 children. Because all of them really see my vision, and they're like, how can we be a part of this? It's just timing, and 2 of them are in the military right now. But my brother, literally, one of them just came home last night, and he's like, dude, I can't wait to come home, because I want to be a part of this. I want to help you build this out. And the idea of building it alongside your siblings or alongside your mother or father, it's really a cool concept, especially when you start to scale.
Yes.
When it becomes more than just a mom and pop or a small business. So with that being said, what's the goal for you with the Eatery and then Venue 37? What's the goal in the next 5 years?
Oh, what a great question. Right now, the goal for the restaurant specifically is that, right now we're only open on the weekends because we do a lot of catering.
Yeah.
And so the goal, I think, ultimately is for it to just become a catering concept, because it is a small business, and it is just me, my mom, and my sister that are running the business. So that's a lot. And me and my sister, we actually still work full-time jobs. Yeah. My mom, she was able to retire about a year ago, so then that way somebody has to do it, right? Somebody has to dive in full-time and really just have that faith to grow the business. Yeah. So, like I said, I think eventually the restaurant will maybe just become catering. Okay. But I'm not sure. Okay. I'm open. I'm open to whatever it becomes. Because with that being said, we did recently just hire a chef to help, because we are kind of doing a lot. Yeah. So we need a little bit of assistance. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm not sure. I think there's beauty in that, the kind of curiosity of what the future has, I'm a very strategic person. So I'm always all right, this, then this, and this, and then this, and then the next 20 years, this is where I'm gonna be. I was kind of telling you that a little bit earlier. But what I've learned, outside of the spiritual aspect of setting my plans before God, outside of that, I make the plans fully, and I mean in detail. I know where I want to be, how much money I'm gonna spend when I get to where I'm gonna be, and I think about all of that, and then I work backwards, and I'm like, okay, as long as I set my intentions, there's going to be things that happen outside of that plan. Yeah. But because I know where I'm going, I'm able to make wiser decisions or more informed decisions. Yes. You know what I mean? So there's beauty in that curiosity of I really don't know where I'm going, but this is where I would like to go. Yeah. So I'm just gonna keep walking in that direction, and then you start to find yourself in these little rooms where it's oh, I can do that. You were just telling me the flowers and the coffee thing, and it's I never planned on being in here.
right? So being in here was kind of that little side quest, right? You know what I mean?
I love a good side quest.
Right? Yeah, for sure. It's like, oh, okay, let's see where this goes, right? And then you pull what you can from that, and then you get back to, but you know where you're going, so it makes it very easy for you to make that decision. Versus on accident, you end up, and now you're 10 years down the line, and some
This
weird.
is true, yes.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's all about finding that balance, because I am the type of person where I'm just going with the flow, and things have always worked out very well for me.
Good.
And so I don't know. Yeah, but I do like that structure behind it, because like you said, when I'm definitely a fan of reverse engineering, you know, just seeing it from that perspective. But just again, just knowing that it's God's plans, because I have been like that in the past, where a little bit more structured, thinking like, oh, at this age I want it to be this and the third, when then things don't turn out that way. It's like, okay, well, what do we do next?
100%. I think it removes that disappointment, right? Because you're like, oh, I want, like, I'll tell you what, I was very grandiose as a child, and I say child like a young man, so I was like 16, 17, and I don't know if anybody remembers this from high school. They remember a lot about my high school years, more than I care to remember, but I was like, man, I'm gonna be a millionaire by 21, and if I don't make $1 million by 21, I'll make $2 million by 22, and I was talking crazy, and I really believed it. But I had no idea of how to get there.
What that really meant.
Yeah, like what does that actually mean? What how much time is that? How much product is that? Like, what am I doing to, you know, I had no idea. But I knew that, like, I wanted to do something. So with that being said, it's just hilarious to see like where I am now, because no, I don't have $1 million in the bank, right?
You don't?
No, I know, right? Some people would be questioning that. Nah, heck nah, I'm broke. So, like, the idea is that, like, I had a really cool conversation with this guy in Texas, and I was like, man, I want $1 million gym, right? I want my gym to be worth and value at 7 figures. And he's like, you should go look at all the equipment and the floor and the people that you have come in. Look at all that. He said, you probably already have that. It just looks very different than what you thought it would look like. And so that's kind of the reflection. It was like, in my brain as a child, $1 million was like $1 million in my pocket, versus $1 million in assets, $1 million in the things that you are operating, the value that they bring. And that flipped everything for me, because, hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, this video here is sponsored by Overnight Success Coffee. As we do always, we try to serve the best possible quality product, whether it be coffee, whether it be water, whether it be a mocktail, our syrups. Everything we do, we really try to take our time with it and really put a lot of care. It is craft, in fact, and one of the things that I'm trying to accomplish right now is really pushing the wholesale. We want to get our beans into spaces so that you have the opportunity to experience our coffee from different perspectives, right? Whether it be in coffee, a latte, an espresso, or maybe it's an espresso martini or a coffee-inspired cocktail. We want to give you the opportunity to taste our coffee in all of its different forms, and different formats, whether it be candles or whether it be body scrubs. And so wholesale is a big part of our operations right now. So with that being said, if you like coffee, if you love the smell of coffee, if you like the texture of coffee, please contact us so that we can get you some coffee, and whether it be wholesale again or retail, or if you want to do a curated experience with us, that is something we would love to do with you. Again, this is sponsored by Overnight Success. Come get you some. Let them sleep. I started to realize, oh, I'm actually like $1 million dude. Like, the value that I bring to an organization, right?
Yes.
Like, I can make your organization a lot of money, right? So in that, I may not have $1 million in my pocket as far as like net worth, but the value that I bring to any conversation or any organization is sometimes and honestly priceless, right? So that changed a lot for me. And to your point about like how you kind of find your way, and then again, when you end up in a room a couple years down the line that you didn't necessarily expect to be in, you're still winning, right? Because first off, your intentions, but then also when you have a certain mindset and you understand the value you bring into a room, no room that you go in is going to be, for you at least, it won't be like a disappointment, right? For me, it's like, I'm in here for a reason. right? And I'm probably adding more value than I'm getting.
I love that.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that's our purpose. I think for us as leaders and people that are like visionaries, like you go into rooms that may not be, we doing renovations in any room we go into, put it like that.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
For sure. But so with that, right, I think you're a new friend, right? We've started like just kind of being in some of the same rooms, having some of the conversations and things. Personally, like, where'd you grow up? How was growing up for you? Like, what did that look like? Because obviously you have some type of relationship, and I think there has to be a deep level of trust for you and your mother to be in business together.
Yeah.
So what does that relationship look like, and how was that growing up?
Yeah, so I'm just a kid from Akron.
Okay.
Born and raised
for sure.
here. I've always had big dreams. I've always been ambitious. I've always been driven. But my mom, she also had like a very high level of expectation. Like growing up, I couldn't even have like C's. My mom would be like, "Are you average? You can't have a C. Like, what is that about?"
Yeah.
So I've always been honor roll, mirror roll type of student, perfect attendance.
I am not that. Crazy. For sure. Okay.
Yeah, that's always just been who I am. I've always wanted big things, and my mom, she has always just supported me in all of my side quests and all my little adventures and things like that. And yeah, so like I said, just born here, went to Garfield High School. There, like I was telling you earlier, I did cosmetology, so that is my background, is just being around people. So that has definitely shaped me as an adult. That's all I've done in addition to the entrepreneur world, but prior to that, just being in the hair industry. And
so for your mother, right? Like,
yeah.
You have siblings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's that like? What siblings?
So in just the household that I grew up in, it was just me, my mom, and my brother.
Okay, so you have a brother.
Yes, I have a brother.
Okay.
He's older, but not by much. We're like 18 months apart.
Okay, so y'all almost Irish twins.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. So that pops, dad.
No, my mom and dad were divorced when I was really young. So,
Okay. So you were raised primarily by your mom.
Correct. Yeah. So we
Okay.
have just a really strong relationship, and as I said, she's always supported me.
That's good.
But if I'm honest, like, we were just talking a little bit ago about like working with family, and sometimes that can be a challenge, especially like with that being my mom and us becoming like business partners. And so I had to admit, in the first few years, it was kind of like a power struggle between us, just trying to figure out her being the mom and using that as a power.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that, for her, that trumps everything. And I'm like, well, no, because the things that I'm trying to explain to, or my intentions behind everything, is not about me trying to be in control, but me just looking at the bigger picture and trying to actually grow the businesses.
Yeah.
So, but we worked through it,
Okay.
and now we have just a really great relationship overall.
So you're the CEO, right, or the owner? How does that work?
We're co-owners.
Co-owners.
Yep, co-owners.
Okay. And so as far as that dynamic, you are partners, and you had to like even the playing field where like you can't throw the deuce down every time something happens.
Throwing it down.
Yeah. Okay. So that's so interesting, because I've thought about that, and I've actually had these conversations. Now I think it is different from a son to a mother versus a daughter to a mother. That might be a little different, right? Because I've come to my mother and I'm like, yo, look, I'm gonna need some investors, you know what I mean? And I'd rather you invest in my company than go to somebody else first, right? So if I'm gonna get investors, let me start here. And she's like, okay, well, what does that look like? And I think the level at which is a good thing, but the level at which I would like my company to be, right? The numbers that I tell people that I'm trying to achieve can be very intimidating for some people, and for other people it doesn't feel real. It's like that
like you're over ambitious.
Yeah, like because it doesn't make sense, because they've never seen anybody do it in our family or in their proximity. I've been around a lot of people who have done it. Like they've done it multiple times. You know what I mean?
And so you know it's possible.
Yeah,
it can be done.
And honestly, it's a lot easier than we think, right? There's this really great quote that says it always seems like more until you count them, right? And when you break it down and you're like, oh, okay, like it's a learning curve, but once you got it, you got it.
You got it.
You know, and so from a perspective of like dealing with my mother or my fathers or whatever like that, it's certainly you have to kind of like really convince. It's not a matter of belief. They definitely believe in me and they definitely support me, but how you support somebody.
Okay.
Right. So what's your investment level? Right.
Yeah.
Is there sweat equity? Is there a financial, investment? Or are you just showing up and buying? Are you inviting people to the things, right? My mother does a little bit of all of that, but I'm like, I need you to understand, I want you to come in a more serious level though, right? And that's why we haven't had that power struggle yet, but I believe that it might come, and I'm actually trying to prepare myself and learn from like people like yourself, like, okay, so when I start having these conversations with her and she start making decisions, I'm like, I'm a leader and I'm a boss and I'm a coach and a mentor. So like, I don't care who you are, even my mom.
That's literally how I am. I've always been in leadership roles. As my career as a cosmetologist, I was into education. So I was a teacher at one point, which is how I ended up in Maryland. So I was teaching and then I was promoted to the school director. Okay. So again, I've always been in these leadership roles. I've always been a salon manager. I've never just been like just a stylist. Yeah. And that's how I am. When I have a vision, I'm locked in and I kind of see the way that things should go. Yeah. And I have an opinion. For sure. And so that was a little bit of because she also has an opinion as well. Sure. Yeah. What does she do? I know you said she retired. What was she doing? She retired, so she's in the community as far as working with adults with mental disabilities. Okay. So she was a social worker, caseworker. Okay. So she was in that industry for the majority of my life in all different capacities. Wow. Yeah. Okay. That's noble work. Yeah. I imagine it's some challenging work as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I would imagine she has a high level of patience. Or no? Is it the opposite? I feel like it depends. Okay. For that job in particular, yes, she has so much patience, but then I feel like in other capacities, maybe not as much. Yeah, so I don't know. It's interesting. That is interesting. Yeah. Okay. Because like when she's with her clients, she's just, it's a beautiful dynamic how things have unfolded. So one of the more recent events that we've done at the venue was something called Rhythm and Release or something, where she is hosting like a monthly dance for her clients. Okay. And just when she's in that space, when she's with her people, as she says, she's just different. Like you could tell that God put that spirit in her to serve in that community. Yeah. But it's also poured over into her cooking. She's always been like a great cook, like our family cook, the person who's always in the kitchen. Yeah. So she loves to feed people. She loves to take care of people in that way. Yeah. It makes sense. That totally checks out in terms of like now, and I would consider this, and this is kind of my new language, and that is we are in the hospitality space, right? So like when we look at like filing an LLC in the actual industry, I always am like, I don't know, right? I'm kind of like questioning, and it's like food and beverage, and then I start thinking like, this is so much more than that. You know what I mean? This is hospitality. This is how you treat somebody when they walk into your room or your house or your space, and it's how people leave, right? What is the story that they tell? Yeah. It's the conversations, and so I think that's a big part of what your mother, that's her skill set, right? It's the hospitality piece, and even for yourself, I think. Which is so interesting because there's a book, I don't know if you've read it, Unreasonable Hospitality. No, I haven't. You should check that out. Yeah. I've lived like that for a long time. I didn't have a real strong language to say it, but I always behaved in that way. But I think it was an accumulation of the military. There's a book called Leaders Eat Last, which is a really good one. There's another book by John Wooden called the Pyramid of, that's crazy, I forgot the name. Well, Coach Wooden, if you look up Coach Wooden, his book comes up, but that was like one of the first books that changed my life as a person in terms of coaching and how I looked at like teaching people, because he used that book for his team. I believe it was UCLA. But with that being said, there was a couple books that I read that changed my perspective and like really charged me with being like,
when you walk into spaces, like, don't look at what is happening as like, this is what is happening and this is what has to happen. Like, look at it for what it can be. Look at, like, see the potential in things. And that's scary because, you know, when you see the potential in things, it can get you hurt. You know what I mean? Because not everything lives up to those expectations.
Exactly. Yeah.
And excuse my French, but I often say potential don't mean shit. But seeing it allows you to have the vision, and then if you can do something about it, then that's the difference.
Okay.
Right? So, like, if you see potential in a person, that's beautiful. But if they're not willing to take ownership of that potential, then it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you can walk into a space that is a dumpster and be like, I see potential in this place, but because you're willing to actually put your hands and get your hands dirty with it and like really start tinkering with it, then it becomes the thing that you saw. Right? But you can't expect somebody else to walk in and be like, okay, I'm gonna execute your vision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So Unreasonable Hospitality is a great book for you all to pick up, because again, it gives you language for the things that we're already doing, which is a very high level, very like bold and again unreasonable level of hospitality.
Yeah.
You know, people really getting experiences that they can't get anywhere else because it's not about a brand name. It's about the person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And again, like by me being a cosmetologist, that's how I've always been. I've always been into customer
There you
service,
go.
always been
Yeah.
into taking care of people. And you might not think about it, you know, not being in the industry, but when you're a hairstylist, you are in very close quarters with people.
Absolutely.
Like very close quarters, and people, they depend on you, and you see them in all different stages of their life, whether it's just, you know, a regular Saturday and they're just getting their hair done for the work week, or if it's a special occasion, if it's a prom or a wedding or a funeral.
You
like
become
you
a
just
therapist
never
almost, for sure.
literally
Yeah.
literally you become a therapist, and people just kind of lean on you and they support you, and you just become just a listening ear for them.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just love
So I was taking pictures of his setup, and so while I was taking these pictures of his setup, I found this really interesting angle for his clippers, and it really brought me back to what you just said in terms of barbers and hairstylists and people in that space that are like really close with their clients. And you know, like the barbershop used to be kind of a hub for men. You know, we would go in there, we would have our banter and our back and forth, and that was therapeutic for us. You know what I mean? It still is for me because I go to old school barbers.
That's nice.
You know what I mean? But like it's the same thing for you. Like women sometimes, and it is sometimes it's messy, but like y'all go to the salon so y'all could talk and talk about things that you don't necessarily have to or want to talk to your man about. Like he send you to the salon to talk about certain stuff because it's like, go do your thing.
Go talk to the girls.
Go talk to the girls, hang out, you know. And I think that is like a huge part of hospitality, and that's like having these spaces where we can feel so comfortable with the people that we're with, while getting catered to, while having some self-care, whether it's getting your nails done or getting your hair done or whatever, for men and women. But I think to the broader position that we're in, right? Me being a coffee lounge owner and you being a venue owner and a restaurant owner, it is about like people interacting with the brand, not only getting good food, but also like smiling and laughing, right? Breaking bread.
Yes.
Like it's such a cool thing.
It's the community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the community. And that's what I love about the venue, is that I'm able to not only lend the space out to people who are doing their own thing, you know, giving them a space to gather and celebrate and, you know, do all the things, but then I'm able to also host events where I can bring people together and I can cater to them and I can host and I can, you know, just have an experience.
I think something that we got to do together. I was having this conversation, and actually, because I didn't know a whole bunch about what you were doing. I knew you had the venue, and was very curious about some things, but because I move around so much, I'm like, I got to get to this conversation. But then I'll schedule things. I'm like, but I'm going to talk to her, so we'll talk to her about it then. But I was just having this conversation with my uncle. So my uncle is like, again, for the like 15th time, I don't know what the name of the thing is. I know things that are adjacent to it. So that, like, you know how you have sommeliers for wine, and then you have Q graders for coffee. There's the same role for cigars.
Okay.
Right? Someone who tastes cigars and grades cigars and understands the leaves and the different notes that you get out of cigars. So he's that for cigars.
Okay.
Right? He's also like a bartender. This dude literally will pull out, like, literally, where'd you get that from? And start making drinks, right, for people. So he's a great host. Now the reason I'm saying that is because we were talking about what does it look like to do a tasting, like a full tasting for everything.
That is so crazy that you said that. We definitely got to tap into that a little bit more because, you know, like I said, I like to create experiences.
Yeah.
We just had our Mother's Day experience, which was a big thing, and it was a huge success. Where, whatever, we'll get into that later. But for Father's Day, I kind of wanted to create an event that was similar to that, like with cigars, where the dads are coming in, they're rolling up their own cigars. But then in addition to that, doing like a bourbon, I guess that's what guys drink. So doing like a bourbon cocktail class where you could smoke the bourbons and everything.
Yes.
But I need somebody to host it. Because I don't know how to do that stuff. And that's where one thing that I love about myself is that I'm able to go out and have those conversations with people and network and, you know, just create those spaces.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we got to tap into that.
That could be really dope. Yeah, because there's so much more to it, but I think that is, a friend of mine, Kayla, she's a chef. She's in Cincinnati. New friend. I got a lot of new friends. A lot of new friends. Especially I've been in Ohio, and I mean, I connected with all of the Ohioans that are like doing really, really cool things. It's really dope. But they call her the commander in beef, right? It's hilarious. But she's dope, right? She's like really out here chefing it up, and she has really like cool insights when it comes to the industry, and she's been in it for a while. But she was telling me about some of the events that she's hosted and collaborated on, and she's like, some of these things started with 6 to 8 people, and we just would do it because we wanted to do it, and it was 6 to 8 people, and like some of them have now grown to over 1,000 of people, to the point where they had to scale back. Because it was like, we don't have the resources to support all this, you know what I mean? Like, we would love to, but this is a lot. So I think that's a good problem to have. And it's a better problem to have than, you know, not having the people at all, right? It's having too many people that love the thing that you're doing. And so when she said that to me, it's a humbling thing because I'm a little grandiose in nature. So I do think really, really big, and I'm like, I'm going to do this thing, and it's going to be the best thing ever. But it allows me to give myself grace. So to your point about this thing for fathers, because I was thinking so big with this idea, I'm like, to do things for fathers, right? To do something smaller, more intimate in terms of like the crowd that we serve. Be more intentional about it. I think that actually elevates.
And I love the intimate settings. I love the intimate settings. I guess when it kind of going back to like my big goal for the venue is to create like an ecosystem where it becomes this hub where people can come in. Just hosting like monthly things, which we have already been doing that for a while now. Just prior to having our own event space, we would have things down at the Northside Marketplace because again, that's where we house the restaurant, but then just renting out different community rooms and things like that. So now it's just been a blessing that we have our own space and we can, you know, just make our own moves when we want to. But yeah, so just creating those intimate spaces. And with the venue, it was intentional. We didn't want it to be this big, massive room. Our venue, the capacity is 87. Which is more than enough. I feel like the sweet spot has always been like around 50. And that's still a lot. That's still a big, like a pretty big crowd. But like when you said like the rooms of like starting with 6, that's, that could be a really sweet spot.
I think like the idea, this is a perfect example. So people are always like, so tell me about the name of your company, right? It's Overnight Success, right? What does that mean? And I have to kind of give it to them. And I'm a very thoughtful person, and the idea of success it's always challenged me, because someone once said, if you are waking up and you are doing the thing that you love to do, you are successful. Somebody said to me, if you don't work for anybody else, then and you have retired. And I'm like, damn, so I've been retired for a minute, you know what I mean? Like, because I've been working
for all intents and purposes.
Yeah, you know? So just kind of challenging what these ideas mean really, it will set you free, first and foremost. And I think to your point about like your space and like having a very intentional amount of people in the space. And then also being like, I'm not shooting for 1,000 people, right? I'm okay with 50 people being there. It sets you free of that expectation.
And then I feel like I can just better serve those people. I rather that. I'm more over quality over quantity.
I think that's a high level of discipline. Right. To say that but mean it. You know, because I think people say that until you have the ability to reach more people. And then it's like knowing that you can reach more people, but you don't, right? And you're like, no, let's only invite this amount of people, because I could open it up for everybody, but then the quality goes down. And some people don't care about it. It's like, but we're gonna get this check. You know what I mean? And like the check matters for sure. I want to keep the lights on. I want to be able to do what I do, but we had a networking event. What's today? Tuesday, Sunday. And we had, I think, 6 people here. But when we talk about networking, right, it's interesting because if you go to a networking event, there's a lot of working the room. Everyone's working the room. Everyone's shaking hands, get my card, and da-da. And then the level of follow-up, I mean, if I had to put a number on it, there's probably a statistic out there somewhere that I haven't read. But, I mean, it's probably a really low percentage of people that actually reach out and connect with the people that they've met at those events. But if you got a room of 6, 10, 20 people, and y'all doing a networking, the odds that you're going to connect,
because it's more personable. You created that experience, and and I think when the rooms are smaller, people can have more intimate conversations. Can really take the time, because you don't have 100 people that you're trying to get to.
100%.
Like, I got these 6 people I can just truly focus on.
100%. 100%. There's something to that. There's really something to that, and I think exploring that idea a little bit more from a business perspective would be very interesting. I mean, I think I'm kind of doing it just on accident, right?
Just naturally.
Naturally and organically. That's what this has become. A very intimate. And people keep saying, you need to put a sign out. And like, I told Matthew the same thing. Like, we need to get a sign or something. And I even have a sign out here that I was putting outside. And I'm like, I like the idea of people discovering.
I see. That's how I am too. I think it's beauty in that. Like, the first time I came into Leaf, like, I was blown away. Like, I was like, what is this? Like, literally blown away. And then when I came in, you had the coffee set up. I was like, what is going on?
For sure.
Yes, and it just feels like, you said, like a little hidden gem. Just, I don't know. I love it. I love when things are just intentional and
And I think, and that's the, like, in terms of like capacity and quality over quantity, it's like, I could start marketing this place crazy, and I haven't, right? I let my people do it for me, right? But I could start paying for ads and put one of those balloon guys outside.
Oh, God, no.
I could do the whole thing, right?
Please don't.
Right? But I could really make people be like, oh, let's go to this place. What is this? I could, but again, I think allowing people to find us organically has allowed us to reach more people in a more genuine way. Right? So it may not be thousands of people coming in here, but hundreds of people have come in here and they come back.
Yes, it's a more meaningful connection.
So even with you, I feel like that's a very similar target. It's a very similar angle that you're using right now, which is like, let's just be intentional about these things. Now, let me ask you, when did you open up Venue 37? When was that?
We at the beginning of the year.
This year?
Yep, the beginning of this year. Yeah, so the restaurant has been around since, we've been in the Northside Marketplace for about 3 years. And then, like I said, the venue, we just opened this year. Like, our first event was in February.
Okay.
Yes.
So we really started around the same time.
Yes.
Interesting.
Uh-huh.
That's really cool though. And so about 3 months in the game for the venue space. Capacity about 86 people, you said?
Yes.
And you're doing events, what, monthly, weekly? What's the cadence?
Like my personal events monthly. That's my goal, is to create, like I said, this ecosystem where people can learn to expect or something to look forward to on a monthly basis. Yeah. A lot of the events that I host are family friendly. So then that way, just, everybody can enjoy, and it's one less excuse not to come, because the kids can come. Bring the kids with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so just mostly on a monthly basis for my own personal events, but still leaving it open for other people to come and do their events.
Okay. Are you a part of any organizations, like whether it be the chamber or any black chamber or Rotary Club? Are you a part of any of that?
And unofficially, we partner with a lot of those organizations for catering purposes. Like we just catered the Christmas party for the Akron Greater Chamber. And like the Black Chamber of Commerce, they came down to the marketplace. They hosted an event with like the Akron Urban League.
Okay.
So unofficially, we have provided services to those organizations. One organization in particular that we partner with a lot is Downtown Akron Partnership.
Okay.
Just because, again, the restaurant is located downtown, so they have been a huge support.
Yeah. Absolutely. So now, is there a reason why you haven't joined?
No particular reason.
Okay.
Just haven't gotten around to it.
Okay.
Yep. Unfortunately.
I think what you're doing, the way you move. I mean, actually, I want to shout you out a little bit, because I've seen, like, you've been on Fox.
Oh yeah.
You're on Fox News, and you were kind of on these different platforms doing your thing, which is really dope to see. I think it would benefit you to be a part of these organizations, not even from a place of like just being a member, but also like them knowing what you have going on allows them to give you a platform.
Yes.
Right, because I think it's necessary, but also there needs to be more representation for us.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like you being a entrepreneur, a business owner, and then I'm trying to get better at this, so excuse me. So I'm trying to not lead with the fact that I'm a black man, right? You see that, right? That's not changing.
It's self-explanatory.
Yeah, I don't have to talk about it. But being that, and then also knowing that we're from Akron, and that there's not a lot of business owners who happen to be black, who happen to be successful, who happen to be moving in a certain way and in certain rooms, it's a lot there. And I think like the I Promise School is a good example of like these young kids who I know a lot of them who need to see that.
Yeah.
Right? Because I grew up and I seen a lot of black business owners, but again, it was like the level at which they operated wasn't at the same level as some of the other people that were operating that weren't black.
Yes.
You know, so I think being at the chamber, like the last event I went to, I look around the room and it's a lot of beautiful, really intelligent, really cool people that I network with and market with, but it's not a lot of us.
Okay.
You know, so I think that could be beneficial for what you're
definitely.
trying to accomplish.
And after this conversation, I'm tapping into it
for sure,
today.
Sure.
Like I told you, I had a little break in between my days, so I'm gonna put that on my. Because you are probably like the third person within a month that has mentioned that. So yeah, and it's just for a lot of other things going. I just haven't
100%.
had the time to really get into it, but. Yeah. I do enjoy being in those spaces, in those rooms, and listening to those different conversations. Yeah. So I'm gonna tap into that for sure. Yeah,
I think too. Like I had another conversation with a young lady. She's from Canton, and we were talking about her business, and I was asking her what the structure of her business was, and she was like, this and this and that and the other, and then she said, I just feel like making it in a business like a LLC. It's not a LLC or anything like that yet. She's like, I feel like doing that is a lot of paperwork, and I'm listening to her and I'm like, man, you're missing out on a lot of opportunities because you're not a structured organization.
You're not, right, it's not official, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
People can't, like, even if people want to support you, they can't. Because I told her, I said, you're basically just like a club. You know what I mean? Like, you're just a club of people that get together and do really cool things, but people can't use that as a platform or can't put you in other spaces so that you can benefit from those conversations. So with that being said, I think as business owners, as leaders, when we see things like that, like if I'm in certain rooms, I'm thinking about like, why isn't Wyterria here? You know what I mean? Like, she should be in here networking with these folk as well. Or that young lady, it's like, why isn't she moving around in certain rooms? I really dislike being one of the only people in my space all the time.
Yep.
And I do a lot by myself. So like, I'll go to these events. I got 2 events that I'll be going to here soon, and I've been inviting people. Like, I'm like, yo, I need a +1. You know what I mean?
Keep me in mind. I'm always
for sure
my side quest. I'm trying to tell you.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I know what you mean, and that's why, like, being in Maryland, being in DC, I've seen a lot of that. It was a lot of us in all these rooms and taking up a lot of space.
Yeah.
And so that's what really encouraged me. That's what motivated me and made it so easy when I came back home to really dive into it and just, you know, take ownership in that way.
100%.
So yeah, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely keep you in mind though, because like I said, I got some cool ones coming up, and I think there's actually this really, I'm probably gonna go through it, but it's actually for women. It's like a women's leadership, kind of like speaking event.
Okay.
Right. I'm gonna go because I have a lot of women that I deal with, right? So like, I have my bartender and flavor designer is a young lady, and I have another young lady who I'm doing her grand opening. We're partnering up for her grand opening.
Okay.
And I think about these people in these spaces, and I'm like, you know, women need women just as men need men, but also having exposure across and cross-pollinating, so we can understand the things that the dynamics. Like, I don't really understand everything that you deal with. You know what I mean? I can imagine, I can try to, like, you know, but like, I really don't know. And so like, me being a father of 2 young ladies, I need to be able to educate them from a perspective of like, no, like, when you go into certain spaces, I'm gonna teach you how I think you should move, which I think is good.
Yes.
But then there's certain things that I can't necessarily prepare you for.
Yeah.
Right? And I also probably don't want you responding how I would respond to some of them situations. You know what I mean?
Because as a woman, sometimes you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to get the same reaction or, so
100%.
it's not going to be received in that same way.
Yeah, precisely. So I'll get you that information, but I say that because I think, again, when I get this information, I'm always thinking like, who will benefit from this? And I think the more people we have in these spaces, especially like, and it's away from me, but like just young business owners, business owners who are like kind of grassroots and like visionaries, but like don't necessarily have all, like, we don't like come from a whole bunch of money or whatever the case may be, you know. I think it's really cool to go into these spaces and then learn these things. I love learning. So when I learn about certain things, I'm like, that is so cool. For instance, Downtown Akron Partnership and all them, they were talking about the numbers that they're looking for downtown, right? You're one of the people that they are talking about, right? Because you live downtown. So they were talking about how like their goal is to increase the density of downtown, right? So from the residential space, they want to get it up to like 5,000 people. And when it hits that number, it allows them to invite bigger companies to come in and, you know, take space, right? Meaning like if they want Trader Joe's, for instance, that's the one that they said, right? So they want a Trader Joe's, they need a certain number of people in that space. So that,
to make it make sense.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I'm like, I never thought about that. Because I would complain about the same thing, like, why don't we have this store? Why aren't we doing X, Y, and Z? And it's like, well, we can't because our population is too spread out.
Yep.
You know, we need more people here so then we can slowly walk it out and then, you know, everyone will benefit. So with that being said, as business owners, knowing that information is super like advantageous.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's so funny that you specifically said Trader Joe's as I made my 40-minute drive to Trader Joe's.
That is so funny.
Yesterday, yes.
That is so funny. Literally, I mean, you got to go out the way.
Literally, yeah.
Absolutely. I think too.
In Beechwood, right.
100%. And you know what's funny about that too is that like I think I was having this conversation again with my uncle because he's in Dallas right now, and that was actually where I was supposed to be right now. I was planning on moving there.
Oh, really?
100%. I was looking at
that's
properties.
what I'm talking about, the plans, and then no.
And then they switch up on you.
And they switch quick.
Yes.
Drastically.
I mean, as we were talking about though, I felt like there was a calling. There was like this lighthouse beacon, and we saw it, and we made our way back here to Akron. You know, the word that I've been hearing, first of all, you say the word you used a couple times is ecosystem, and I think that's an incredible word, because I tend to say the same thing. I'm creating a world for my brand and the things that I'm doing. I'm creating this little world that exists, and there's like these different spaces, and I think ecosystem is the perfect word to say that, because everything feeds itself, right? It's like feeding each other, right? And so not one thing is overpowering the other thing. It's all very balanced, and like everyone's eating, you know?
Literally, those are like perfect words.
So with that being said, like ecosystem is a really good word, but then also, you know, if we're looking at you know, the more global perspective, I'm like, you know, we have my uncle who's in Dallas. Let me go back actually. So the other word was Renaissance. That was the other word. But the reason I say that is because he and I were talking about proximity in terms of like how far something is from the next thing, right?
Okay.
So Dallas, if you go from the west side to the east side, like Dallas is a big city. So you go from one side of the city to the next side of the city, and it's essentially the same as driving from Canton to Cleveland, right?
Oh, wow, yeah.
So in my mind, because I'm pretty traveled, like I've been a lot of places, driving an hour somewhere is not that big a deal to me. You know what I mean? Like I will drive, it's 30 minutes is around the corner in my mind.
Yep.
Some people, they feel like that's
when you're from a small, and that's what I found when I was in Maryland, which is kind of the reason why I came back home, because my commute I was living in Maryland, the outskirts of DC, and my commute in would be like over an hour, like an hour 30, depending on what that traffic is looking like. And so just like you said, 30 minutes, it's 30 minutes, okay, that's literally comparable to being in Akron and something that's 10, 15 minutes away.
Exactly.
So somebody said like, oh, go to Cleveland, that's literally nothing to me. It's like, 30, 45 minutes.
We'll make it happen.
Easy.
And I think that is something that I'm trying to challenge people with, is that like Akron, Cleveland, and Canton, we are basically one big old city. You know what I mean? And I think to try to understand that allows us to do more.
Yes, I agree. And like for the restaurant, we have been getting a lot of people that are coming in from Cleveland, and it's funny because sometimes they make it like, or just me being on social media and people from Cleveland reach out like, oh man, y'all in Akron. I'm like, we're in Akron. You can come down to Akron. That's not that big of a deal.
Right down the
for
street.
Some good food, for a nice experience.
Absolutely.
You can make that commute, and people have been. So it's been great to see that.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. And like for our open mic, same thing. We had Akron, Canton, Cleveland in the same room, and I even said it. I'm like, we should be doing this more often.
Yeah.
Let's all go to Venue 37 and get some food and hang out. You know what I mean? And do something at the Eatery. Like, let's find reasons, especially because Akron is actually central. You know, to Columbus, Canton. Like, if everyone was to drive to Akron, it would probably be around the same outside of Columbus, but it's about the same distance from everybody, and it's the most central to everybody. So I think finding a way, and it is a little bit of our job. Right, to give people a reason. Give them a reason, yes. You know, and that's where the venue, that's where it comes in at, because that's a place, the hub that people can come and then they can create these rooms, these experiences to bring people together. Yeah, I think obviously from COVID we got away from that, and we, like you said, it is our responsibility. Yeah, we are the future. Yeah, for sure, So. As we come to a close, right, what is your, like, 6 months, right? What are you trying to achieve in the next 6 months? And then the last piece of that is, well, actually, I have two questions. I'll lead with this question first. What keeps you from quitting? What keeps you going? And, like, I know you have hard days and challenging days. So what keeps you going? And then the second thing is, what are you trying to accomplish in the next 6 months that we can all kind of help with, be a part of? Yeah, so what keeps me quitting is that it's that my name is attached to it. And I was brought up that we do everything in excellence. Yeah. And just knowing that my name is attached to it, and it's bigger than me. Like the whole process, the whole purpose is so much bigger than me. Yeah. Kind of onto your point, you was talking about like you're doing this for 6 people, your brothers, your children, and things like that. For me, I'm looking at my nieces and my nephews, and just trying to set that blueprint. So
Quitting is never, that's not even an option.
Yeah.
It's literally not even an option.
For sure.
And not to say, like you said, I'm gonna get discouraged, overwhelmed, things like that. But that's never an excuse to quit. You know, the vision has to be bigger than the discomfort.
Yeah. That's the vision has to be bigger than the discomfort.
It has to be.
That's good.
Yep.
That's good. That's a bar.
So it's the vision. Yep. That
Okay.
prevents me from quitting and just keep going.
Okay. And then, so the next question would be is, next 6 months, what are you trying to do? What do you need help with? Where do you need resources? Where do you want the community to pull in, or pour in rather? And then what can we just keep our eyes out for?
Yeah, so the next 6 months, just continuing to build up the venue.
Okay.
Yep, just continuing to, like I said, host these monthly events to keep people excited, keeping people coming through the door, you know, just keeping people, giving them something to look forward to. So just support.
Yeah.
I love how you said earlier about the support can come from many different capacities. It can be monetary support. It can be sweat equity.
Yeah.
So all the different things. I need all of it.
For sure. Yeah,
I need all of it.
Yeah, for sure. So if it ain't one, and you listen, just show up.
It's just showing up. It's the support on social media. That's a big market. That's a big way of promoting and getting exposure out and things like that. So it's liking a post, it's leaving a comment, it's sharing it. It's just coming out. It's all those things.
Yeah, and speaking of that, make sure y'all like and share and comment, right? We need all of that. As entrepreneurs, as founders, as we do all the hats, we need to support. And I know, and this is the thing, you know, this is something I'll say to you and to the people that are watching. Watching is a big part of it. But don't watch in silence.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
what's that about when people watch in silence?
People will be like, man, we see what you're doing. I'm like,
I have no likes.
What is it? Like, I haven't heard from you. Like, I see you out and you're like, you've been watching what I'm doing. It's like, bro, help me. Be a part of this, right? I don't need you to buy everything, but just share or comment. Let me know that you saw it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just like it so I know, oh, okay, my man, that's dope. Or comment like, yo, that's fire. Or share it. All of that stuff is free.
All of it's free.
Yeah.
It's free and it takes very little effort.
Very little effort.
Yeah.
Very low hanging fruit.
It is.